Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you, my beloved brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. To those, I love you too. To those who are unfamiliar with those Arabic words, they mean in English, peace be unto you. That greeting is not just a greeting, it is a prayer. A Muslim is praying to Almighty God that peace is upon those to whom he gives such greeting. And that peace means that you are free from harm, from that which comes from my mouth, and there will be no harm coming to you from my hands. That is, of course, if truth will not harm you, then you will not be harmed. To the students of Morgan State who had the courage to invite me and the courage to stick with it, yes, sir, I am so grateful to all of you. To this bold and wonderful professor who spoke just prior to my introduction, I cannot thank God enough for your courage to speak such words on behalf of your brother. And to all of you who have come out tonight to receive me and have received me in such warm and beautiful way, I am grateful to Almighty God for you. For no one could put love in our hearts for each other but Almighty God. For so long, those who did not want to see us a free people, a united people, have sought and continue to seek to divide us through tricks and lies, deceit. When I read the accounts in the newspapers, I wonder who these people are talking about. Could there be such variance? The press writes such hateful things of me, yet my people seem to love me. Is it because you're looking at the same object from two different perspectives? Naturally, the oppressor is not going to look upon the voice of freedom for the oppressed kindly, but the oppressed receive that voice of freedom gladly. Is this the position that you are in? Beloved, you have already made your judgment of me by your applause and your love and the expressions on your faces. I know that you know that the charges that are leveled against me are false. There has never been a black man, to my knowledge, in this country who has received this kind of vilification steadily, day after day, week after week. I said nothing coming to Baltimore. So if a storm of controversy has been created, certainly I did not create it. I have been coming in and out of Baltimore for 30 years. I am not a stranger to this city. I have spoken here at Murphy Auditorium on at least 5 or 6 occasions. Never was there so much press. But the people were always here. The auditorium was always filled. I was always well received, and no one went out of this auditorium to go and grab a white person or a Jewish person or any other ethnic group to disturb their peace. Why now is there so much fear of what I might say that this word that I'm about to speak cannot be put on the radio, that the whole city may hear this man and judge me for themselves? You know, God is certainly great. Whenever white folks get this upset over a black man, black people are getting wise enough to understand that there's something good about that man. White folk got upset about Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey and Gabriel Prosser. White folk got upset about Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth. White folk got upset about Frederick Douglass and W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. White folk got upset about Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali. White folk got upset about Martin Luther King when he didn't go the way that they wanted him to go. White folk got upset about Malcolm X and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. White folk got upset about Stokely Carmichael and H. Rap Brown. And I could go on and on and on. So I think I'm walking in good shoes when you're upset with me. I did not come here to waste the time of these students teaching them to hate anyone. Your own actions do that much more profoundly than I can. I did not come to this auditorium to Baltimore to pit blacks against Jews, or blacks against whites, or blacks against blacks. I came to tell the truth. And evidently there's something in my message that is feared. I have been compared to Hitler. It's really pitiful. Any black person who commands the love and the respect of the masses is feared by those who don't control that one. And it's clear that they don't control me. And it's very clear to them that they don't have anything to offer me that will sell out the promise of the destiny of black people. It is clear to anyone who has any intelligence that they cannot make me afraid, for God has removed fear of you from me. And I recognize that as powerful as you are a gnat in power in comparison to Almighty God. And so, to the members of the press and to the faculty and to the administrators of this great institution, fear not. Let not your hearts be troubled. I am not your enemy. The poor administrators of this institution, I feel sorry that you are put in such shameful position. To the president of this institution and the administrators, I respect your skill, your knowledge, but I hate to see you with your hat in your hand going to Annapolis, begging for the crumbs that fall from the table of the Board of Regents. I hate to see that. And it is not the president's fault. We put him in that shameful condition because Morgan has graduated some fine minds, men and women, who have gone on to do great things in this society, and some of them are wealthy. But they don't think enough of the institution that gave them their foundation to come back home and offer some of their substance yearly to this institution so that we might be a free institution. You see? And this is why we say today that black people must become economically strong so that we can free black institutions and really make them ours. Now there's a plan afoot to merge Morgan with the University of Maryland. Is that right? What is that all about? There were years that no one minded you having your Negro school. For years, no one cared that you were separate but unequal. But in the 60s, they found out that it was institutions like Morgan, like A&T, like Howard, like Grambling, like Winston-Salem State, that was producing the leadership that would revolutionize the thinking of black people in this country. So they recognized that a black institution was a threat. So we have to now integrate the black institutions, swallow them up into larger institutions so that we never have to worry about an all-black presence that will inspire black love, black allegiance, black intelligence, black self-respect. I wonder why you would compare me with Hitler and not with Jesus Christ. You see, the people were divided over Jesus. Some called him a devil, and others called him a saint, a righteous man. Some of you evidently think I'm a devil, but others think I'm a good man. So the people are divided over this man Farrakhan. If you recall, Jesus had a controversy with the Jews. No, 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 no. Just listen. He had a controversy with the Jews, according to your New Testament. Reverend, if I speak a lie, stop me. The Bible was here before I was born. He had a controversy with the Jews. Some said he was a wicked man. They said he was anti-Rome. They called me anti-American. They said he's anti-white. Well, they didn't call Jesus that, but they had another name for it. He was against their licentious feasts. He was against the Jews serving as pawns in Rome's imperialist armies. That's right. Tell me the truth. That's the truth. That was Jesus, a good man who opened the eyes of the blind and made the deaf hear and the dumb speak, made the lame walk and raised the dead to life. A good man, but he was called a devil. When I speak by the grace and the power of Almighty God, blind eyes come open. Deaf ears are made to listen, and dumb tongues are made to speak, and a people that have been reduced to a dead level are being raised to a living perpendicular and stood up on the square. But the government of Rome could not stand Jesus. And the government of America cannot stand Farrakhan. Who were the enemies that were lined up against Jesus? Not Hitler, Jesus. That's the man whose footsteps I walk in today. A man unwilling to compromise and bend to the powers that be. He wanted the freedom of his people. The enemies of Jesus were the scribes. Here they are. The enemies of Jesus were the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the Essenes, all of these so-called religious people, but they were religious hypocrites, as many of you are today. You praise God, but you bow down to man, and you hate me because I say no man can serve two masters. He must love one and hate the other. Those who question me try to find some little thing in what I say that they might use it to trap me, to ensnare me. This is the same thing they did to Jesus. I can tell you your move tomorrow because your moves are written in the book, and I am reading the book and acting out my part, and you are playing yours. You see, beloved, you are the people that haven't thought too much of yourself. The whole world is looking for a deliverer, but you are not looking for one. But it is to you that God gives the deliverer. It is to you that God gives the Messiah. And this is why J. Edgar Hoover was so upset and designed the counterintelligence program to make sure that no Messiah would rise up among you that would weld together black men and women and forge a unity of those nationalist groups and request land and independence. Well, the thing that you have feared is now growing in your midst, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. Your day to destroy black leaders, black teachers, black guides is over. So Farrakhan, no matter what you say about me, will not dry up and will not blow away. And the dangerous thing that you are doing is you want to incite someone to take my life. You see, you are such wicked people. You want to put the wickedness of your racism, your bigotry, your hatred, and your anti-Semitism on me. No, that's your garment, and you look better in it than I do. No. Can you imagine America? Can you imagine Mr. Reagan, Mr. Bush, the U.S. Senate, where there is not a black senator repudiating and censuring me for hate and bigotry? Can you imagine a country that has stolen the land from the Indians and now wants to take them off of the little reservations that they have? Brought my fathers here to America, not on the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, but in the holds of ships. I understand there are 4,000 people outside trying to get in. What is it, beloved? What is it? What is it that they fear? What is it? Truth. And this is what Jesus said: you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now, there are a few little points I want to make before we get to the heart of our subject matter. You see, they tell the lie and then they keep on repeating it as the basis for their condemnation of me. Farrakhan, they say, praised Hitler. What kind of a man would I be to praise Hitler, a man that hated black people? But I am not a fool. I know that, as the Quran teaches us, that Allah, God, is great, and that all His greatness is manifested in His creatures. He gives to each one of us as human beings a bit of His own greatness. Now the question is, how do you use the greatness, the charisma, the gifts that God bestows upon you? I recognize, and so do those who condemn me, that Hitler had qualities that made him not just a little cheap corporal, but a man that has astounded historians and political scientists, whose influence is felt 40 years after his death. I said that he was a great man, but wickedly great. When they print it in their paper, they take out the word wickedly, and they say he praised Hitler as a great man. No matter how many times I defend myself, they lie and keep on telling the lie as though the lie is the truth. No wonder Jesus said, "My word has no place in you." It's sad, but it's true. Here is a people that taught me their language. Since they robbed me of the ability to speak my mother tongue, when they killed my mothers and fathers after mating them and producing children. So here's a whole nation of people who can't utter one word of their own mother language. So the only language I have is English. Now you're angry with me because I have become somewhat proficient at the use of your language. I know the meaning of great in its true meaning, and so do you. And I know the colloquial expression of greatness, and so do you. So I am using its classical, true meaning, and you condemn me on a colloquial expression. You know that wickedly is an adverb describing the adjective great. You taught me that an adverb can modify an adjective. You taught me, and if I modify the term great with the adverb wickedly, I am telling you how the greatness is being used. I am qualifying the greatness. But you did not like my use of the qualifier, so you condemned me, trying to turn my own people against me, accuse me of derailing the campaign of Jesse Jackson when it is your misuse of my words. Now, I was in Mexico a few days ago during that great earthquake. Notice I used the word great. Now, according to the Richter scale, when it is 7.8 or 9, it is a major earthquake. I think it was today that they fixed it at 8.1, which made it a great earthquake. Great earthquake. Does that mean it is good? You see how hypocritical you are. Now, what will you say tomorrow morning? Dustin Hoffman, a brilliant Jewish actor, appeared before Jewish dinner the other day. It was jam-packed, they tell me. And when Mr. Hoffman got up to speak, he said he wanted to play the role of Hitler. He talked about Hitler's charisma. It was quoted, but the Jewish organizations, to my knowledge, have not vilified him. Just Louis Farrakhan. He praised Hitler. You're great too. Wickedly great. There is an unwritten law that you can make jokes about Poles. You can make jokes about Spanish-speaking people. You can tell your Negro or your nigger jokes. You can make jokes about Italians, but be careful. Don't say anything about Jews. This is my son standing beside me. He's 24 years old, and he is one of my younger sons. He has lived with me for 24 years. He has never heard his father use the term kike to describe a Jew, or warp to describe an Italian, or guinea, or spick. I hate those terms. You know why? Because I grew up being called nigger. And when a people don't like to be referred to by an unkind name, then why give to others what you don't like for yourself? Now, if my son has never heard me use any of these expressions, I'm 53 years old soon. I'm a little too old to start now calling you names because of your race or your religion. However, I did say that nation called Israel has not had any peace in 40 years. Stop. Did I lie? Has Israel had any peace in 40 years? I said she will not have any peace because there can never be any peace structured on injustice, thievery, lying, deceit, and using God's name to shield your dirty religion under his holy and righteous name. Now that is what I said. Listen now. I have not once in my speeches ever mentioned Judaism. Well, Farrakhan, what is the religion of the Israelites or the people of Israel? Is it not Judaism? That is what they profess. But Jesus said, be ye not hearers of the word, be ye doers of the word. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, mere belief counts for nothing except that belief is carried into practice. You cannot tell me your religion is what you profess. Your religion is what you practice. If you practice lying and stealing and cheating and murder and homongering, then your religion is a dirty religion that is using God's name as a shield for your wicked practices. This is what I said, not of Judaism, but of the state of Israel and Zionism. And I maintain that today, and I shall never change until Israel changes. That's what I said. Now, wait a minute. You might disagree with that point of view. Fine. But that is not anti-Semitism. Now that you call me anti-Semite, why don't you define that term for the American people? I have not stopped one Jewish person from doing one thing that they wanted to do, good or evil. When the Jewish people stood on the side of Baki against the affirmative action that blacks felt were necessary to redress our grievances, blacks did not call the Jews anti-black. They had a disagreement. We know that Israel is supporting the apartheid regime of South Africa. We know that Israel keeps South Africa supplied with arms, and it is suspected that she has helped South Africa with nuclear capability. Which one of the black leaders that are so quick to repudiate me as an anti-Semite has had the courage to say to Jewish leaders, repudiate Israel's involvement with the apartheid regime of South Africa? Why are the black leaders so quick to condemn your brother whom you know is a good man? But you have never asked your Jewish friends. Well, first of all, what do you mean anti-Semitic? And what did he say that is anti-Semitic? They don't do that. They won't even trade off. You repudiate Israel, I'll repudiate Farrakhan. At least if you did that, I would feel a little better. But for Mayor Marion Barry, our brother, with a black constituency, voted into power by black people, he condemns my words in Washington, D.C. 7 weeks after the fact. 10,000 people came out and were inspired and went out into the night, didn't mug anybody, shoot anybody, sell dope to anybody, went home thinking about the message that was on their mind. And 7 weeks after the fact, he repudiates me because of Jewish pressure. And then wants to talk to me on the telephone afterwards. Such hypocrisy. Why would you come out in front and condemn me and then want to come behind the door and pacify me? I'm with you, Farrakhan. You are not going to repudiate me and think that I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to fight you back now because I know your hypocrisy, and I'll bring it all out in the public that you are liars. You do these things to placate the Jews while behind their back you say terrible things in the private against them. Wicked hypocrites. I went to Los Angeles. Before I got there, the city was hotter than a firecracker. In the Washington Jewish Weekly newspaper, in an article called Farrakhan's Follies, which really, if you read the article, it ended up saying Farrakhan left Los Angeles in victory and his enemies in disarray. So you should have called it Jewish Follies, not Farrakhan's Follies. They admitted that they had a meeting with Mayor Bradley in private and dictated to Mayor Bradley that he had to repudiate Farrakhan. And one of them had the nerve to tell him, and if you don't do it, you won't get our support for governor. Mayor Bradley promised the Jews, I will repudiate him. And he promised them to do it in a press conference on Saturday morning before I spoke Saturday evening. The black leaders said, for God's sake, Tom, no, they didn't say uncle, they said Tom. For God's sakes, Tom, hold off until after he speaks. Don't condemn him before, condemn him after. In the meantime, they were going to send black leaders to me through my representatives to tell me, cool down my rhetoric. What do you mean, cool down? It's an insult to me. Then on the day after, which I told them the night that I spoke, you intend to repudiate me anyway. Which they did. And all the black leaders that were sitting behind me, I said, some of you intend to betray me also, but you're trying to play the game. The next day, here comes the mayor. He repudiated me. Said he condemns bigotry, hatred, violence. And that includes Mr. Farrakhan too. So the Jews listened and they said, look at him. He won't even do it with strength. You know why they can't do it with strength, sir, madam, ma'am? Because in their hearts, they know that I am their brother and I am not what you want them to paint me as. But like Judas, for the 20 or 30 pieces of silver, they know that some of you will sell out your brother or your mother. Though I am a man that there's no guile or deceit in my mouth, what you see is exactly what you get. I don't have to hide my words. I'm not using rhetoric. I mean what I say. These wicked leaders of ours are now being put on the spot. So they all want to come to me now. They're getting ready. It came out in the papers in Los Angeles that 15 Jewish leaders went to Mayor Tom Bradley and said, if you want to get back in our good graces, you have to get all the black mayors to repudiate and condemn Louis Farrakhan. Now, what many of the Jewish leaders don't recognize is you would do better if you just be quiet. But you're so excited that some of your own wickedness may be exposed, that you are like a criminal that sees the cops coming and is trying to hide, but there ain't no hiding place. You begin to look guilty, and the wicked, as the scripture said, fleeth when none pursueth. But why must they get black repudiation of me first? You see, they couldn't crucify Jesus until they had trumped up the charges against him and gotten the people who once loved him to say, crucify. You see, they charged Jesus with sedition. Farrakhan went to Washington not necessarily to speak on the power program. I know what I'm doing. I went to Washington to give a message to Mr. Reagan and the government of America, even as Moses and Aaron had to go before Pharaoh to lay the case before them. This is what I was doing on July the 22nd. And I said to the government of America, which some of you say is anti-American, I said that America's involvement in wars, covert and overt, is not to protect democracy, but to protect the privileged position of the rich at the expense of poor blacks, poor whites, poor Mexicans, dying in Vietnam for the rich, dying in Nicaragua for the rich, dying in Grenada for the rich. I pointed out the CIA involvement from their own magazines in plots to assassinate Michael Manley of Jamaica. How the CIA had put Miss Eugenia Childs in power in Dominica, and then Reagan used her so that he could justify the invasion of Grenada. Their own records condemned them for the murder of Patrice Lumumba, for the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah, for the killing of strong leaders on the African continent, in South America, the Caribbean, and black men, young men who don't have a job, who have very little education, are being used as pawns to carry out a foreign policy that no black people help to shape. We are instruments of a foreign policy that is wicked and against the democratic principles that this nation is supposed to be founded upon. And so I, Louis Farrakhan, said that no black men should be drafted, or white men all brown men, but I'm particularly interested in black people, to fight unless America is really being threatened. But young men should not come back from war. Drug addicts, limbs gone, eyes gone, minds gone, and America doesn't care, so that the rich can suck the blood of Asian people, Latin American people, get their raw materials so that American people can live a high standard of living. And you know that what I'm saying is the truth. Now the question is, what makes me brave enough to say it? Knowing that they could charge me, as they did the beloved Master Jesus, with sedition. But if Paul said, though I speak with the tongue of angels, if I have not love, my voice is as a tinkling cymbal and sounding brass. And though I have all knowledge and have faith to remove the mountains, if I have not love, I am nothing. Love does not seek its own. It is not puffed up. You cannot make love afraid. A mother will go into a burning building after her baby. She didn't take a course in firefighting. Love makes her challenge the flames. I am not a hater. I am a lover of black people, and therefore I will challenge the flames, that the truth may be told, that you may go free, and perhaps America might make herself better in the process. Now, this is what I said in Washington, among many other things. But my point is, brothers and sisters, they have to line up the leadership against me first. Once they think they can line up the leadership, they can use the leadership to pacify the masses, and then when they assassinate the brother, everyone will be happy. But I'm telling you straight out, with the deepest of humility, I am a very precious man in the sight of God. And you know, I say to you with deep humility, if you don't like me, it's better that you leave me alone. Because you will not get away with harming me. In fact, you can't unless it pleases God. But if you attempt it, I can assure you, you will be destroyed. I say this to America as a nation. I am a mercy to you. From God through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You can take it or leave it. I am a mercy to the Jews. And I am certainly a mercy to black people. You are headed for total destruction. Total. And you cannot recognize that it is only the path of truth, that if you alter your course and do justice by black people, do justice by the poor and the weak, then God will spare your nation. Did you think your rockets and your bombs can protect you from Gloria? There is enough energy in one Gloria to do as much damage as one of your big, powerful atomic weapons. God is merciful to you. He brings a great quake in Mexico. He's hoping, not hoping, he knows, but he's sending signals to you that one is headed your way. Go ahead and do whatever you want to me, but you're not going to live long afterwards. I will die a happy man knowing that I'll be the last one that you ever kill. And so, beloved, they didn't know that God was making a bond between us. They don't know that your mind is being elevated to a level of consciousness where their propaganda does not work anymore. They are so blind that they're caught in a groove. They just can't get out of it. You know how they are in the disco when they can't get on board with the groove? The music is going one way and they just can't seem to get in tune. Whole earth marching one way and they go in another. Your stuff is not working anymore. The black mind is beyond your control. The only psychology that will work today is truth and justice. The youth are gone today. The black youth are out of control. Mama can't handle them. Teacher can't handle them. Nobody can handle them. It is because we have produced a generation to fulfill the hopes and the aspirations of all the former generations. And this is why these young people, they're different. They're from you, but they're not like you. If this was a former generation of student leaders, they might have bowed to the pressure. But these student leaders said, no, Farrakhan is coming. The students said, we'll tear the place up. Farrakhan got to come. We'll close it down. Farrakhan got to come. For the first time, black leaders cannot sell out another black brother without consequences. I warn the black leaders. I warn the black professionals, the black politicians, the black educators. Look at what is going on in South Africa and be instructed by the violence that's there. Because the little blacks in South Africa are killing the blacks in privileged positions who have become apologists for white oppressors. Be instructed, brothers and sisters. You will see that happen in America. Don't say Farrakhan is preaching violence. I'm only telling you what selling out your people is going to bring you. So, Reverend, if you don't like what I say, show me incorrect from the book. I will bow. But you read the book and you know what Jesus said, and you hear what I am saying, and it's parallel. And the reaction against me is the same as you read would come against Jesus. They were afraid because the multitudes came out to hear him. There is no black leader on the scene today who commands 10 and 20,000 black people to come out and listen to him. And he's not a politician, and he's not a musician. The multitudes are coming. And they are saying, he must be stopped now. Stop me how? For what? And with what? No. No, no, no. Dear beloved, this is your time. You are more than what you think you are. So let me take the next few minutes to say these few words to you about you. You see, you have thought all these years that you were nothing because you were black, and you felt that you were black because you were cursed, but you did not know that you are the original people of the earth. And I defy the scholars, the geneticists, the biologists, the historians, the anthropologists to disprove that if the black man were not here, you have no source for your life. We are your fathers and your mothers, and you have dishonored the very people that have produced you. No, it's not racism. Just a fact. You know that their fathers taught you history, mathematics, philosophy, medicine, law, government, every discipline their fathers gave to your fathers when you were uncivilized in Europe on your own force. It was a black man that brought you up out of that condition. This is the thanks we get. No. You have robbed your own people of correct knowledge that would have allowed young white students to have a genuine appreciation for blacks. You would not teach your own the value of these black people, though you go in secret in your Masonic lodges and in your shrine, and you learn about us behind the closed doors. You talk about you want integration. You want to integrate Morgan into the University of Maryland, but you will not integrate the black Masons and Shriners into your white shrine and your white masonry. You won't integrate that. And the reason you won't integrate that is because you know that the black Masons have oleo and you got butter. You know that in your lodge you are studying about them, and they think they're studying about Hiram, and they don't know that they are Hiram, the master architect that got hit in the head, carried away and buried in the north corner in a shallow grave where no light shines. But someone came to raise him up and didn't have the proper grip. It took a master grip to pull him up. because he's a master. And it needs a master to pull up a master. All of that is talking about you. The prodigal son, the lost sheep, the people of God, the people that the book says would be in bondage in a strange land for 400 years. But after that time, God would come after you and raise you up and make a nation out of you and make you leaders in the earth. This is what they don't want you to know, that you are to supplant their rule because their time is up. Their rule is wicked and unjust. The Bible says this is the Lord's doing and it is marvelous in our sight. Only God could take a foolish people like us and make us something of value. The Bible said he would take a foolish people and confound the wise. He would take a people that were no people at all, and he would bring to naught the things which are by the things which have no existence. Here you are, a people of no existence, a people that the world has brought to naught. And here these sophisticated men of science who study how to psych the mind and mess up the public and guide them like sheep. But their stuff don't work anymore on the foolish people. The foolish people are saying, I'm not listening to white folks anymore. The more you condemn him, the more I know he must be right, so I'm going on out to hear him. It's your day. It's your time. You got to stand up now, brothers and sisters. You got to come up out of that shallow grave that you're in. You got to take off your grave clothes and put on your new garment. What are your grave clothes? Ignorance of yourself and your kind. Ignorance of God and his true religion. Ignorance of the nature of yourself and the nature of your enemies. You must cast off ignorance. It is your worst enemy, not the white people. Ignorance, not the white people. Fear of white people. This is your worst enemy. Nobody can help you if you're afraid. Gaddafi loaned us $5 million. Interest free. Dear brother, Reverend Jesse Jackson got a $100,000 gift from the Arab League. He didn't mention anything about it. During the campaign, they unearthed it as though he had done something wrong. And for 4 or 5 days, the press whipped it up. The FBI got involved. And finally, after they had milked it for its propaganda value, then they said, Jesse did nothing wrong. So when Gaddafi loaned me the $5 million, I wanted to make sure that they knew. So I went to Washington, D.C., 2 blocks from the White House, and announced it loud and clear, knowing that I had done no wrong. Then the next day, didn't take 4 or 5 days, the next day they went to the State Department. Did that Farrakhan do anything wrong? We don't know anything he did wrong. I took the money and put it in a black bank. Wait a minute, don't clap. Don't clap, don't clap, don't clap. Don't clap. Don't clap. I put it in a black bank. making less interest on it than I could get in a white bank. But I want to support my own and strengthen them. The government comes down on the black bank, frightening the hell out of them with $5 million in their bank, telling them, don't help him. We're going to pounce on him in a little while, and if you loan him anything, you might never get it back. We're going to tie up all the money. See, it's easy to scare a Negro. Johnson products, M&M products, Coma Cottrell, Proline. They were going to manufacture the power products. Now, between the Jews and the government, frightening them, they're getting second thoughts about making a product that will make money for black people. I'm not asking them to sell any drugs. I'm not asking them to manufacture drugs. They won't stop drugs from coming in the black community, but they want to stop us from manufacturing our own products. The hell you will. No. We're going to get to the point in America where we're not going to care what you say. We're going to do what we know is right and then challenge you and make you come against us. We are tired of your foolishness. And we have nothing to lose but our chains. You got everything to lose. Your world and your life. We are dead already, classified that way by the prophets. And the resurrection has begun. Beloved, fear not. I stand before you to say to you, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Stand up like a man. Stand up like a woman. And if they tell you, do you like Farrakhan? Say yes. I like the brother. I'm with him. But he teaches hate. How could we hear it over your hatred of us? It's your time. So, beloved, take that dope needle out of your arm. Leave that cocaine alone. Put the reefers away. You didn't come here high, and you can't get up out of this condition in a stupor. You got to have your wits about you. Being high or drunk is only a false escape. You got what it takes to defeat reality and make a new reality. Many of you that don't understand the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I want you to know when Elijah Muhammad said that man is God, he was not wrong. God made man to be God. God made man to take charge of his own life and his own destiny. God made man in his own image and his own likeness, and gave man power and dominion over the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, and over every creeping thing that crawls upon the earth. Man can rise to master the laws of nature and absolutely control his destiny. Take one reality, change it, and bring in another one. Man is not made to succumb to some other reality. Man is made to challenge a reality that he does not like and make a new reality. God has made man to ascend to the heights. If man will submit to the will of God, God will cause him to be resurrected and ascend him into the heights when man can become a master as Jesus was made a master. Do you hear what I'm saying? What they don't want you to know is that you have the power to become a master yourself. You should never approach anything as though it is your master. You should approach everything as though God has made you its master. I remember once I was sitting with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I said to my leader and teacher, "Dear Apostle, you taught me how to play the violin." He said, "Brother, now you know I didn't teach you to play a violin." Of course he didn't in the technical sense. But when I went to my violin lessons at 5 years old, my teachers kept telling me that the violin was the hardest instrument in the world to play. And therefore, I should work real hard at it. So I looked at the violin as this great thing that I had to master. And I kept reaching for it. I got very good at it, but not the master. But when I met Elijah Muhammad, he showed me how God made us master and makes us to become master. Let me show you how, beloved students. Don't you go to class tomorrow with your head down hung, with a book in your hand, thinking you're going to commit suicide because you can't make the grades. Stop it. God does not make mediocrity. God only makes levels and degrees of excellence. Every one of you has the ability to become excellent and more excellent and the most excellent. You must recognize your kinship to God. Look at this now. When Elijah Muhammad asked me the question, "Who is the original man?" and I could not answer. And he told me that it was the black man, the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe. He was telling me that I had the potential to master the forces of nature and to master the laws that govern the universe. The white man today is showing you that it can be done. He said, "God makes rain, I'll make it rain too." And he has learned how to seed the clouds and make rain. God said, "I create life." White folks say, "I'll go in my laboratory and I'll create life too." So he goes in and he creates synthetic life. He is showing you that if man strives to be like God in a righteous way, he can master everything of this universe that there is to master. But Jesus said, "As a man thinketh, so is he." And if a man can make you think you're nothing, then you will approach everything like it is above you. You approach your wife and you approach your husband without a thought of mastering the relationship. So you never get out of each other what God has so abundantly put in you for one another. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to me that the only heaven that a man has is found in a woman. I said, "What did you say?" Man is looking to go to heaven after he's dead. But the heaven for man is found in a woman. What does that mean? That in her is that which consoles your mind. In her is that which empowers your mind. You didn't hear me. You approach your wife and you approach your husband without a thought of mastering the relationship. So you never get out of each other what God has so abundantly put in you for one another. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to me that the only heaven that a man has is found in a woman. I said, "What did you say?" Man is looking to go to heaven after he's dead. But the heaven for man is found in a woman. What does that mean? That in her is that which consoles your mind. In her is that which empowers your mind. You didn't hear me. You didn't hear me. Any man that's a fool enough to deny a woman is a fool. He denies God. For the very womb of the universe, out of that womb, God created himself. So every man and even God must respect the womb. And that's why Prophet Muhammad said, the best of you is the one who is most careful of his duty, and the one who treats his wife the best is the best man among you. Heaven lies at the foot of your mother. It is a woman, brother, that you must honor, and a woman that you must respect. Listen, brother. A woman is like the earth. She has everything within her that is needed. But you have to have the technology to mine out of her soul what God has put there for you. When you meet a woman and she falls in love with you, there's nothing of herself that she will deny you. There's nothing that she would not offer you, and her soul depth is as limitless as God himself. She's created in the nature of God to express his love. But when you hurt a woman, she's like a flower. She closes up. And when she closes up, you can't get from her what God has deposited within her. Man thinks that all he needs to do is be a sweet papa, be a handsome fella, be able to dance and show muscles, and take her to bed. There's never a bed where you can find the answer. The answer is not in the bed. The answer is in the head. Yeah. All praises due to Allah. Look, women are tired of men dealing with their bodies. Women all over the world are rising up against men, treating them as though they have no greatness or significance in the creation of God. This is why this world is limited, because this world has oppressed a woman. And when you oppress a woman, you oppress yourself, because you can go no higher than your woman. Look at it, brother. I hope you're all right. What is it that a woman must find in a man to release her own power? She must find God in a man. You see, only God makes man. And when a man will submit to God and recognize God and worship God alone, God begins impressing his own self on that man, so that man becomes a reflection of God, so that the figure of God, the light of God, the wisdom of God, the love of God, the mercy of God, the beneficence of God comes through that man. This Quran says Mary was told by the angel that she was going to produce a child. And Mary said, how can I produce a child when no man has yet touched me? And Allah says in the Quran, it is an easy thing. He just said, be. And it is. And in the Quran, it said, and we sent her our spirit, and it appeared unto her in the form of a well-made man. She had it all to give, but she needed God's spirit in a well-made man. She's got to have a man, but in that man, God must reside, because she is not the woman of man, she's the woman of God. You didn't hear me. They say only God can make a tree. Only God can make a man. And only God can make a woman. And when both are wrapped up in the divine being the source of their creation, then both can find fullness of expression in each other. So when the man comes home, he don't have to turn on the television. He turns her on. Well, I'll get off that subject now. And the reason you are born to master is because you are direct descendants of the God. This Quran and the Bible says that the nature of God is your own nature. Listen to the words of the Quran. Set your face for religion, being upright, the nature made by Allah in which He has created man. Your nature is God's nature. You are the people of God. Yeah. So you're born to master. All you need is truth to free the God in you. Listen now. When I approached my violin after I had stopped practicing, when I was 17 years old, I stopped. When I was nearly 30, I picked it back up and played it better at 30 than I did at 17 when I won the Major Bowls and Ted Mack and all these amateur shows all over the country. But I was playing it better because I approached it from this position. All right, violin, I am your master. And when I picked it up and put it under my chin, I knew who I was and I knew what it is. And that's the way you must approach your disciplines and your studies. When you go to language, you do not approach any language as though it is hard, because you are made to express. And if you are made to express, you are made to facilitate the learning of language so that you may express ideas. No language is hard, it's the approach to the language. You are the expression of language. You hear me? You are the expression of language. You are mathematics. You. To see, to speak, to hear, that's mathematics. The heart beats at a certain pace. So many beats per minute. If it speeds up, if it slows down the rhythm, problems. That's a mathematical creation, brother. Can you dig it? This body is mathematics. If you can master these functions, you can master mathematics. What about biology? I am biology. There's no biology subject that I can't master when I am that. I am chemistry. I'm composed of the elements. Is that right? So don't put compounds together and think that I should know what you're doing when I have been well put together. by the master of chemistry. I am history. In my seed is the future. In my genes is the past, the present, and the future. So when I speak, I can speak in all three tenses because I'm all three wrapped up in one. I am history. I am anthropology. I am botany. Do you understand what I'm saying? I am physics. I uphold myself by physical law. 14 7/10 pounds of atmospheric pressure is on every square inch of my body. I don't feel it because there's a pressure on the inside pushing out to equalize the pressure on the outside pushing in. So I can carry the pressure of the atmosphere and handle it. So now, dear press, look at all the pressure you think you're putting on my head. You would have expected that Farrakhan would have passed out by now. You would have expected, with all the evil things you've said about me, that I'd be running and hiding. But look at me, and look at me well. I'm old enough to be some of your parents. Got 15 grandchildren. And I'll look better than this 10 years from now. Why? 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 Because no amount of pressure that you put on the outside of my head can cave in my mind, because I've got enough knowledge and faith on the inside to equalize whatever you put on the outside. So I walk as though I don't feel a thing. Black man, it's your time. Black woman, it's your time. Now I conclude saying that we, black people, get $204 billion out of the American economy. It is a shame that we send it right on back, because we are nothing but a nation of consumers. You can never get the respect of white people by being a consumer. You will not even be considered a self-respecting person if you're just a consumer. I want to end racism. What about you? Don't you think we ought to end this superior inferiority madness? Do you think it's fair to white people that they, no, listen to what I'm saying. Do you think it's fair to them that they should walk around in 1985 thinking that they are superior to black people simply because they are white? That's unfair to them. It's terrible that you are doing this to white people. You see, they're going to continue to think this way until you're strong enough to challenge that crazy thinking of theirs. Can you imagine in 1985 white folk thinking that they're better than you? And can you imagine in 1985 you think yourself inferior? Well, the only way that whites' racism is going to be challenged is not by saying I'm black and I'm proud, and you're black and you're dumb, or you're black and you're non-productive. But if we pooled our resources, came together, and attracted what America has been good enough to allow us to get, $204 billion. And that's a heavy slave. $204 billion, making us the 12th richest nation on earth if you compare our purchasing power with the gross national product of what other nations produce in goods and services. So look, America hasn't been all that bad now. You got $204 billion. What are you doing with it? Last year, you poor people spent $9 billion on alcohol. I'm going to say that again. Last year, you poor people spent $9 billion on alcohol, $4 billion on tobacco, and nearly $15 billion, it is estimated, in the illicit drug market. That's nearly $30 billion you threw away last year on that which is killing yourself. Now, you know, brother said to the press, you know, get it right. When you write, get it right. That's right. We don't like to see the way they treat us, right? But look, ABC was taken over last year with, I think, $3 6/10 billion. Ted Turner was trying to get CBS. He could have gotten it with about nearly $6 billion. NBC could be taken over with approximately another 4.5 to 5. With the money that we threw away last year. We could have put ourselves in a position to buy ABC, CBS, and NBC. Then you wouldn't have to tell them that they're racist. You could change the policy. It's not their fault. Whose fault is it? Come on. It's our fault. Now here's what power is all about. Power means people organized and working for economic rebirth. All we're saying is that if we produce some of the products that we consume, some of the money that we are paying into the overall market could come back into our own coffers, and then we can begin to build an economic base. Let me show you how it works. Last year we spent nearly $400 million on toothpaste alone. Can you imagine that? Now you mean to tell me we don't have a chemist that can make some toothpaste that has a satisfying taste, the right chemistry to clean our teeth and solve a problem of halitosis? But what have we learned chemistry for all these years? We can do that, can't we? Suppose we bought our own toothpaste. That's $400 million in our own pockets. $400 million can produce over 20,000 jobs, just like that. Last year you spent nearly $700 million on mouthwash. Most of it going to the Listerine company, which doesn't hire that many blacks. You mean to tell me we don't have any chemists that would allow us to make a pleasing mouthwash that is our own? Add another $800 million. That's another 40,000 jobs just from mouthwash. Now what are we saying? We're saying that you're going to buy these things anyway, so why not buy them from yourself? Procter & Gamble is not helping us. You know, the rich white corporations are not really helping us, but there's nothing in America that says we shouldn't become rich ourselves to help ourselves. That's the point. Then when you start just with simple things like toothpaste, mouthwash, just look at this now. Look at how many women, now please don't think I'm vulgar. Please, please. Look at how many women use sanitary napkins. I mean, you mean to tell me we can't produce a sanitary napkin? Now, you gotta use them. So why not use your own brand? Now, if we just became a producer of some simple things that we use every day, look at the money that would start coming to us. Now, what do you do with this kind of money? Some of the first things we must do. Did you see the Farm Aid program the other day? What are they all up in arms about? The farmers are losing their farms. See how God does things? They stole a lot of land from us in the South. And what goes around is coming around. I look at all that fine farmland in Iowa, in Illinois, in Kansas, that white farmers just don't want to farm anymore. Now hush now, don't you come tell me you don't want to farm. With that kind of money, we could go out there and say to the farmer, dear farmer, we understand you've had it. Now let us have it. Since they love money, we give them the money, we take the land. You know how Joseph was, right, in the Bible? Didn't Joseph become master over the grain house of Pharaoh? You better watch yourself, Joseph. Can you see that if we started farming, feeding America and feeding ourselves, we could feed the world? God is so with us today, brothers and sisters. If you just made a step to do something for yourself, He would help us. What I'm trying to say to black people all over America is, look, you don't have anything to be afraid of. Stand up, brothers and sisters, and let's go for ourselves. When you get to the farm and start feeding yourself, do you realize what you'll be doing? You'll be saving your precious lives. They are killing us through food and through chemistry. These are profit merchants, and they're merchants of death. They're feeding the cattle hormones to fatten them up so fast. Before they're ready for market, they're ready for market. Big and fat and poison. Here you are, eating that fat hog, eating that fat cow, eating that fat lamb, eating that fat chicken, and you don't realize what you're eating. Now, we look at your children, 9 years old, they start their menses. 9 years old, little girls, actually with developing breasts. At 9 years old, how they developing like this? Hormones. Feeding the hormone to the animal, you eating them so you growing faster. So they have to send birth control pills now down to the babies. Darling, 8 years old playing with her doll. Did you get your pill today? That's pitiful. That's really not funny. It's pitiful. Teenage pregnancy is a big, big thing. Beloved, your morals are very, very low. And we have to lift up our morals. Look, beloved, this world has so killed your creative energy till all your energy now is put into sex. And it's sickening to see grown men and women, fastened to the radio, day in and day out, and somebody grunting and groaning. Baby, let's get on down. Baby, let's get on down. Get on down, it's time to get up. Baby, let's get in the bush. No, time to come out the bushes. Let's get funky. No, it's time to clean your dirty act up. It's time to clean up that filthy language. Nobody's going to respect you. You open up your mouth, it's an MF this and a MF that, and that MF done told me, and that MF. Hey, wait a minute. We don't have to talk like that. You act as though that's the only way we can express ourselves. That shows you're unfit to be recognized in any decent society. We judge it by your language. You got to clean up your head. You got to clean up your language. Sisters, you cannot walk around in garments that have men drooling at the mouth at you. No. Listen. Now, I know you're going to get angry. But wait a minute, sis. Do you know, sister, you will never get the man that you want. You won't. You will not get the man you want showing yourself in a manner that is disrespectful. When I was in Los Angeles, a young sister came to my suite. She just wanted to, I guess, say hello, Farrakhan. Wait. My wife was right there, though. She was in the reception line to shake my hand, and when she came to me, her little dress in the front was cut so low till her baby. Okay, wait. But you know, she wouldn't have been like that if she didn't think that men like that. See, she really trying to get a man's attention. And so she had her dress cut so low that when she came in front of me, I was embarrassed. I said, sister, cover yourself. You know? And I did embarrass her, and I noticed, you know, she right away knew what the problem was. Now, dear sisters, listen. You must think about the people that make the styles for us. What do they have in their minds? You know, they make dresses with V shape. You know this kind of thing here? These ponchos and ponchos with... See, they put buttons on your coat right here, knowing that as you move, the buttons move. And they know that a living thing is attracted by moving objects. So every time the button moves, the man's eyes. You understand what I'm saying? That? They got you with these tight jeans. Both men and women. Tight jeans. And the most perfect geometric design is the pyramid. Whether it is inverted or otherwise, it's a geometric design that draws your attention. So all they do is invert the pyramid, starting from the breast, ending at the crotch. And so a man, when he walks the street and you walking with these tight jeans up in the crotch, and your breasts actually swinging free, and you... hard-pressed to walk the street, keeping his eyes where they should be. He sees the movement up here, and then he goes right to the point. Then he go buy a Playboy magazine. Then he go and buy a Hustler magazine. And before you know it, rape is on the increase. You know, all kind of freakish behavior is on the increase. You young girls can hardly live in the house sometimes with your own father. This is sad. Beloved brothers, beloved fathers, for God's sake, please leave your daughters alone. Look, a daughter's love for a father is the purest love that you can get. When a daughter looks up to a father and loves a father and adores the father, you got to learn how to handle that. You got to know what that is, not try to take advantage of it. But the man's head is so messed up. His mind is traveling on the level of the beasts of the field. So he molests his daughters. This is going on in the white community, in the black community. Is that right? There's a moral decadence. And you cannot take your place with God and rise up to be the great people that God intends you to be, hanging on to these old immoral habits. I'm not trying to say that I am a perfect man. I'm striving like you are. But beloved, we've got to come up out of this condition. Now, those of you, brothers, who are homosexuals, no, listen. See, one of the worst things we can do is make believe that we are better than somebody else who's sinning on one level and we are sinning on another. So we throw down on the homosexual and we're a freak in another way. Or sin is sin. And God did not make a man to be other than that. These are circumstances. You weren't born this way, brother. These are circumstances. You never had a strong male image. And every time a strong male would rise up among us, the enemies would snuff that man out, because it takes a man to breathe life into another man. Are you listening to me? So look, dear brother, when you can't cope with a woman, it's hard too, brother, because she's smart, man, and she's strong, and she's independent, and you just can't handle her with stupidity. And I mean, it's getting to the point now where you knock her down, she get up and knock you down. So, I mean, no real man should be a beater of a woman. I mean, that's just out. That should never be. No brother should beat a woman. No, brother, no. But if you grow in wisdom, she will respect you. And you can have more control when there's more control of yourself. Now, I'm going to leave that subject, but I just want to say to you, beloved, these are conditions that are forced on black men. You're filling up the jails, and they're turning us into freaks in the jails. Our women are out here, brother. There's not enough men for these sisters. And so men play on them. And you shouldn't do that, brothers. And you shouldn't offer yourself to be played with, sister. Because you are too valuable a person to just cheapen yourself like that for some biological reason. It is not worth your dignity as a human being to let any man misuse and abuse you in the name of pleasure, then walk off and talk about you. That's a drag. So I'm saying to you, sister, look, it is better to be chaste and wait on God, as the Quran and Bible teach, that He will relieve you with a man. But it's better to have nothing than to have something that is nothing. Look, listen, but the women are so hurt now, and they're so abused now, they end up going with each other. So we have a society now that's so messed up, women falling down on women, men falling down on men. Now, how do you resolve this? See, you come right back to God. You come right back to economic development, intellectual and moral development. You produce a man. And when you produce a man, other men look at another man and say, I dig it. I can be that. And then some. Give him something to shoot for. And you pull the man out of him. I've been in the company of homosexuals. And when they sit with Brother Farrakhan, this is the truth, they even talk bassy, you know. How are you, Brother Farrakhan? You know, but you know what it showed me? It showed me that if they have a reason to try, they would try. And even the hardest lesbian, when she meets a real man, it touches something in her. Because see, a woman can play a man, but she can never be a man. You know what I mean? And a man can play a woman, but he can never be a woman. See, and I don't want the play thing, you see? I want a real woman. Because you can only tap a man that's playing a woman so far. But you see, with a real woman, she's infinite in what her soul can give to console a man. So I don't want no fake thing. I want the real thing. And sister, you don't want no fake man. No woman playing man. You don't want that. Do you? And you know, in truth, I've been among lesbians, because that's my work. My work is to clean up our people. Yes, sir. Reform our people, get them ready for their own destiny under the guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And it's a big job. But you can't do it if you're disgusted with the people you're trying to serve. You can't do it if you're judgmental. You don't like homosexuals. You don't like them. What the heck are you not to like them? God has come to deliver us all out of this condition that we're in, and that's all of us. I'm saying in the presence of men, I've seen lesbians get to talking sweet. I mean, you know, their voice gets soft and they start talking real nice. And just a few hours around a real man, they get to saying, I ain't no use in me hanging with this stuff. I just want to be myself. And so, beloved, the key is in your hands. I'm leaving you now, and I know that I would like to stay and you would like me to stay, but you know, I just wanted to just have a fireside chat with you. And to say to you, as I conclude, can you imagine? There are 5 8/10 million Jews in this country, and they are powerful. You've got to respect them. They're powerful. They are organized, aren't they? And they have the resources, don't they? And they are in every field of consequence, and they master it, don't they? And if you notice, President Reagan will show up in a Jewish synagogue, put on a yarmulke, and be in the worship service with them, and he's afraid to say anything that will anger them, because politically, they've got power. They're only 5 8/10 million, a little under 6 million. Here you are with a population that's heading up over 30, going to 40 million. Suppose you used your economic power and then translated it into political power. Do you think Mr. Reagan would be engaged in constructive engagement in South Africa if you and I were awake? Come on. If you and I were awake, he would be tickled to say, Mr. Botha, you cut this stuff out right away, or we will sanction you overnight. Why? Because there's 40 million alive, organized, economically powerful black people in America we dictate the way foreign policy goes if we're awake. This is why they don't want you to hear me. Because what I have in my mouth will awaken black America. And once we're awake, they'll never rule us again. They will have to deal with us on another level. I do want to break up the old black-Jewish relationship. I don't like it. I don't like that old relationship where they're the landlord and we're the tenant. They own the house and we make the bed and cook the food and clean the floor. I don't want them to be the manager and we the talent. They're the producer or the record owner and we're just the talent. They're the movie mogul and we're just the actor and the actress. We produce something, they're the distributor and they do things as they please with. No. We got to break up that old relationship and establish a new one based on mutual respect. But you have to start becoming self-respecting, self-producing. Will you do it? Yeah. How many of you are students here at Morgan? All right, Morgan students, listen. When you hit the class tomorrow, don't you play around. Get on in there. Whatever they have to offer, soak it up and be a discerning individual. And then come out to use it. Not to beg a job, but to make a job for yourself and your people. You that are in fraternities and sororities, how many of you Greek letters? Come on, Alpha, Delta, Omega, Sigma. Look here, beloved Kappas. Let me say this. Don't let us be divided by Greek letters. You see? Don't do that. Don't be an Omega and be found fighting an Alpha or a Kappa. Say, I'm a Q, man, and that's where it's at. No. Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Iota, Kappa, Lambda, Mu, Nu, Psi, Omicron, Pi, Rho, Sigma. But go on. Now wait. Look. All of that is just what? That's a Greek alphabet. But you got to put letters together to make a word. You got to put words together to make a sentence. And you got to put sentences together to make a paragraph. And you got to put paragraphs together to tell the story. So now, we don't want just a letter, we want the story told. So if we want the story told, you got to understand that alphas, kappas, deltas, AKAs, whatever your sorority is, you are just the letter. We want the story. So even though you have different secrets, different handshake, you're the same people. Look here, Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalian, Church of God in Christ, Sanctified, First Baptist, Second Baptist, whatever Baptist you are, American Muslim, Sunni Muslim, Shiite Muslim, Muslim follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. These are just sentences or paragraphs. We've got to find the common denominator that will bring us together as a house of God. Since God is one, then all of us as people who believe in God should be one community. We must work toward that oneness. How do you start? You learn to love your black self and to love your brother and sister as you love yourself, and to want for your brother or sister what you want for yourself. If you start that, practicing it now among yourselves, when you walk out of here tonight, you will walk out of here a stronger man, a stronger woman, recognizing no superiority or inferiority, but that God alone is supreme. and he gives us degrees of excellence. So if you are better than I in one thing, I may be better than you in another. But I am not independent of you, nor are you of me. Since we are created in need, why not reach out for each other, lock hands together as a family, and then march on toward our destiny, and let no one break us apart. So when they call me the anti-Semite, you know what to say. When they say he praised Hitler, you know what to say. When they say he's a bigot and a hater, you know what to say. No, no, no. He's not too heavy. He's my brother. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.